That's great. That's great. So, Kristen, we've established that you've had success financially. You've had how many employees at your peak during the summer? And then also tell us how important it is in the community to give back.
Sure. So, like I said, I started, cleaning houses by myself in school, hired a few of my friends. This past summer, we had a little over 300 employees. So it's been a big change.
Wait, how old's your business?
We'll be 4 years in May.
Okay.
What was the question again?
Okay, so we've established that you've been financially successful, but then giving back to the community.
Oh, okay, yes. Okay. So when the company was growing, I've always been a volunteer in the community. In high school, I was involved in this program, and I gave back in a lot of different ways. And so I wanted to incorporate that into my company. And so I made a requirement that every student of ours that was on our regular full-time team had to volunteer twice a semester. And it really was interesting because, as everyone here has said, when you hire the right people and you hire people who believe in your mission and believe in what you do, we never have to require anyone to volunteer because they just want to. And they volunteer in way more than 2 events a semester. So as a company, to date, our employees have volunteered over 3,000 hours of community service, and we've also donated over $150,000 to local charities and nonprofits. So it's just a really big part of our company, and I feel like it's the giver's gain philosophy. If you give back to others, they will come back at some time and help you along the way. So we're just really big in helping our community. Great,
thanks. Don, let me ask you, I know that you're very involved in a lot of different things in Gainesville and have been for quite a while. How can young people get involved?
Well, this is a question that I often ponder because a lot of folks at the bank, I think I have roughly 30 people who report to me in some manner, and a lot of them just don't see the opportunity. They just can't picture, like, I could just go out and get involved. But I know it sounds crazy, but you could go volunteer to be on any board, and they'd love to have you. And all you have to do is ask. 2 members of the community board for our bank asked me if they could be on the board. So, those are the kind of things that people respond to if you go and ask. The other thing you can do is you can volunteer to help out with something, and it could be anything. But the main thing is you've got to find something that's interesting to you, or you won't stick with it when you're volunteering. And I've seen that quite a bit. People think, okay, I'm going to get brownie points. It's not about brownie points. You don't get any brownie points for volunteering. You feel good about it, and that's it.
So just find something that you're interested in, find somebody who's involved, and say, how can I help? It's that easy.
Right, and you don't have to save the world. Friday night I collect oil and gas signs and gas pumps, and I've just been doing this for so long, and the Matheson Museum's putting my collection on display, and I'm doing a little talk, and that was something that somebody came to me about, just because I mentioned that I had this big collection. And so, it could be something simple. It doesn't have to, you don't have to save the world. Very simple. Just think of something you want to do and go do it.
Okay. We've got about 10 minutes left. So I'd just like to open the floor up to anybody with this question. Which is, when you look out at the audience and there's students who are 15 to 18 years old, if you were their age, what would you do differently? What would you advise them?
So it's never too early to get started. It really, really, really isn't. The older that you get, the harder it is to take risks in a lot of ways. Picture yourself 10 years down the line, 20 years down the line. Good chance you're going to be married. You might have a kid, you might have 2 kids. And by the time you're in that situation, you might have a mortgage, you might have a car loan. There's going to be enough pressures in your life built up that you're not going to want to roll the dice by putting your financial stability on the line and starting a company. Right now, you can. I mean, there's no such thing as financial stability. There's nothing to lose in starting a company right now. I had a couple ventures before Groove Shark back in the day, and by no means were they anything super successful. But I don't know if Groove Shark would be here today if I hadn't given myself a little bit of a foundation by getting started early. You can start something now. There's literally nothing getting in your way. There's always a first step that you could take. And like you're saying, it's not about conquering the world. It's not about like fixing all of the big problems. It's about doing something. So just like you can go out now and volunteer somewhere, make a little bit of a difference in that regard. If you have any kind of thought about starting a company at some point, you can get that going now too. And you actually legally can. You don't even have to be 18 to be an executive in a company. You can't be on your own board. You might need your parents to help out with the bank account, but you could still be an executive in the company. And it's fun. So if you're thinking that later in life you're going to be going on any particular path, if it's healthcare, you want to get into that industry, if it's entertainment, think of some way that you can get started now. You don't have to limit yourself to just working a mundane day job that's completely disconnected from where you see yourself going later in life. So start now. Hit the ground running.
Absolutely. If I could run with that, I really want to impress upon you guys, as far as the students in the audience and everyone, the extraordinary nature of the time that we live in as a generation. You have more power in your hands with your smartphones, your laptops, your tablets than any other generation in the history of mankind. You can do so much more with what you have right now than one generation previous to you and one generation previous to them. You have such an incredible ability. And it's really mind-blowing when you really think about that. And the best thing is for the students, you will never have more to gain and less to lose than right now. Because if you think about it, what's the worst that could happen? You learn a ton. And then you apply that to the very next venture you do. And you're infinitely better off for it. There's nothing that you have to lose in any way, shape, or form of the word. The last sentiment I had is that there are so many areas of industry, business, volunteering, just the world, that are ripe for disruption. Meaning, you don't need to have a game-changing idea. There are already so many amazing ideas out there. It's just a matter of execution. And if there's any demographic, any age group that knows how to think differently and that isn't, like Josh said, strapped by realities in life, it's you guys. You're saying, well, listen, I'm in the prime of my ideation, my creativity. How can I apply what I know to all the amazing problems out there? And you'll be amazed with what you can come up with. So it doesn't have to be this new game-changing idea. We just need better execution on the ideas and the problems and the opportunities that are already out there. So that's something that sometimes I wish I was in your shoes again, because literally there's been so much that's changed since I was in high school. But there's just, I'm speechless at the amount of things you can do right now. So that's what I have to say on that.